All right, guys. Today we have JD from Bold IP, and this is kind of like a special IP attorney that we haven't had really the opportunity to talk to somebody that's really kind of more specialized in the field. So I wanted to get his take on, bringing the products to life, discussing intellectual property, and talking a little bit more about his specialty. That being said, JD, please give us a little introduction on yourself and what you do, and we can kind of just take it from there. I like to keep it kind of casual conversation.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, thank you, Rodrigo, and for Lime Design for having me on. Yeah, appreciate that. I'm JD Houvener. I'm the owner here at Bold Patents Law Firm, and we help inventors, entrepreneurs, and business owners around the country protect what they've come up with. And we start all the way at the beginning, idea phase, help them all the way through to get the patent granted, and through to beginnings of enforcement and making money with those patents. So it's a pleasure to talk with you and talk about anything that you think would be interesting. You and I interface quite a bit as we, share clients. Our clients need, of course, patent help, but we don't know where to start when it comes to how to actually make the darn thing or actually build it. And so that's where you come into play. And anyway, happy to answer any questions you've got.
Awesome. So thank you so much, by the way, for making the time to, work with us, talk with us. And, I always like these to be educational for the audience and entertaining if we have something funny we could throw in there,
Yeah.
I'd love if we could share a little bit about your specialty with us.
Sure, absolutely. So we have, obviously, there's law firms, right? When you hear about attorneys, we have specialized in many ways, in that we're only doing patent law and trademark law. Okay, we've actually got patents in the name of our firm, so that is a specialty. And recently, the past few years, we've actually drilled down even further, and we are serving some of our favorite clients who are medical professionals. And even within that, dentistry, dental practices has been our recent specialty. We were talking just before we went live, and it's been an awesome journey. We've been to conferences, been networking within concentric circles and referral partners there. I love working with dentists. It's not just the doctors, it's the hygienists, it's the office staff. They're just innovative because they're a business, right? They're not, part of this huge conglomerate. Most dentists, they're independently owned, and they got to make a difference and show up and be different from their competitor down the road. And anyway, happy to be a part of that journey and be able to contribute to innovation, not just to make money, but to actually help people, right? And so it feels good to help move healthcare forward.
Very cool. Tell us a little bit about some of the services that you provide.
Absolutely. I mean, our core staple, if you can see that, I got right behind me, but patent searching, it's essential. It's oftentimes forgotten. People want to just, hey, help me get this filed quick. Let me get this submitted. No, you need to take a real serious look. And so we help advise inventors to put the brakes on just a little bit. Okay, take a look before they leap down this journey of acquiring a patent portfolio. Is this the right thing for them? What else, right? What other prior art, it's called? Are there other publications or products or services that are already out there that they might not know? They need to be found, because you have to know exactly how are you different, and is it worth spending what could be 10 to 20 grand, which is our legal fees, and then it goes up from there to acquire these patent assets. So it's a big decision we spend a lot of time on. So beyond that, I won't take too long, but the applications, right? Whether it be a provisional, a design, or utility, non-provisional, office action responses, we're right there, battling it out with the examiner, side by side with the inventor, to try to get their patent granted. And we're very good with that, whether it takes inventor interviews, examiner interviews, or appeals. We've got it. We've been through it all, and we're quite successful in helping get those through. And then once it's granted, we do offer support for inventors that have infringement pop up, right? Either someone infringing their product, or maybe it's, whoops, they've been accused of infringement. We can help look at it very carefully with them, actually look at their claims, or the the nasty letter from a troll, and see, is this really something to be scared about, or is this someone just trying to through puffery scare you into some sort of settlement? We do stop short of litigation, so we do have referral partners that we'll get in touch with if there is, heaven forbid, an actual court, some sort of a suit in place, or if there needs to be a claim filed. we're not your team for that. We have affiliates that can help.
Got it. Understood. Could you tell us a little bit about the freedom to operate? Kind of like, what's that look like, man? Like,
Yes, yes. So this is a great question, and it's based on an inventor who may not want to initially look to file a patent, and maybe it's after they've done a search with us, but they want to know, if I go make this product and start selling it here in the U.S., am I at risk of stepping on other patent holders' claims? Right? Am I going to be liable for infringing any other patents in this space? And it can be a complex question, right? It can be, it depends on how big, what it is that they're selling. And we'll look across the board, across all the patents that have been granted and enforced. Are they going to be infringing, or how can they avoid infringing someone else's patent? So it's kind of a two-part question. Usually we encourage them to look, hey, is there anything that we can protect for you, right, first? And maybe if it's marginal, or maybe even after we file, it's going to cover, let's say, 50% of what they're going to sell. Well, the other part, let's just maybe use an example. Let's say a new hood for an automobile car, a new aerodynamic hood. Okay, and they've thought this through. It's actually going to reduce drag, right, for all these big rigs, and anyway, that's their innovation. Well, they actually have partnered with this new company, and they want to include a grill on their aerodynamic hood. It's sort of this combo package, and they want to know, well, here's the standard grill. We want to be able to sell this with our hood. Are we going to be infringing on any patents on this grill, right, before we go sell this as a package, right? And the last thing they want to do is get slapped with a lawsuit as soon as they sell that kit out to the big trucking companies.
Got it. Any specific examples that you want to share with us for products that you can talk about, something that you've helped create, some success for your clients?
Yeah, I did. Just for the call, you called me out. I was like, hey, do you have any examples? So I could share my screen and kind of go through some,
Yeah.
and maybe this would be cool for the audience, either now or later. A lot of people think that inventions have to be unbelievably complex, right, and groundbreaking, to get a patent on it. So I wanted to first show some of our, let's just say, more simple, consumer product inventions that can come up. Here's a good example. And these are published applications. This is for a kitchen instrument. Okay. Let's just open up a PDF here. I'm not exactly sure what page will pop up.
Okay. So JD, you at Bold, you guys focus mostly on dental products, but you guys also do other areas as well.
Absolutely, you bet. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things you can focus on it, and we enjoy it, and that's what we want to find more of. But you bet, we help entrepreneurs, inventors across multiple industries.
Right.
Certainly, even spatulas, right? And so people think, gosh,
Yeah,
how could you possibly innovate even a spatula? And here it is, right? So it's a new detachable spatula, kind of replaceable head, kind of one of these you potentially could see it on, has seen on TV examples. And so I'll try to find some here we've done over the past couple of years, for different types of systems or shields or engine control system, kind of some more complex systems and structures. And a system, oftentimes, what I'm expecting to see is actually a flow chart. You hear engine control system, you're probably thinking, well, it's the actual mechanical engine, the combustion engine. But in the end, it's actually a flow chart, right? It's a series of steps that you're protecting. You can look at the claim number 1 here, and it's a system comprising a module, interface device, database, one or more processors, sensor data, location of GPS, right? All these different things must be in place. Anyway, just wanted to kind of show an example between the difference of a method and a product.
Yeah.
And
go
ahead.
Do you have one that is like the hardest product that you've ever worked on that you could talk about?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
I told you, man. I told you I want to keep it casual, and you know what I'm saying. Like if we were just having a conversation, me and you were in front of me, I would be throwing some of these questions at you too, man. So like,
I had this one when I was just starting out. Right now I've got a position where I'm kind of more managing and overseeing a lot of the work being done. So the ones I remember the most, the ones that I actually helped write, and I helped Tony Chi. He left Boeing the airplane manufacturer, right? And about a year later, he came up with this invention, of course, to sell back to Boeing. And this is when they were struggling on the 787 Dreamliner. The issues they were having on their wing, right? It's fully composite, plastic. I mean, there's metal parts within it, but the major issue they had is lightning strike. So a
Right.
traditional metal airplane, it actually it kind of just shrugs, right? A lightning bolt hits it, it goes right off the tail and off and down to the ground. But a plastic airplane, it can put a hole through a plastic wing. So they had to develop this very heavy, complex copper wire mesh. So they actually literally had, mesh of copper to act like metal underneath. It sits on top of the composite. And so Tony's invention is all about carbon nanotubes, right? This fancy terminology, but it's basically putting metal into the paint. So now you can have basically the lightning flow, the EME content current flow right through the airplane wing. So that was one of the coolest things I've ever worked on.
Very cool.
Yeah. So anyway, a lot of fun examples. There's so many, and looking through that list, it's interesting. The patent, it does take about sometimes 2 to 3 years, to get through the process. And so, looking at that list of, hey, what have we gotten our clients patented? It was before we specialized,
Right.
and so there are a lot of this, whatever comes in the door, whatever inventors got. Yeah. And, those examples are, it's all over the place. We balloon valve adapter, right? Helping kids blow balloons. Unbelievable guy. Jerry Allard has got balloonsies. And so it basically reduces the amount of air, flow that you need. You can imagine trying to blow a balloon when you're a kid. So you put this thing around the tip of it and the kid can blow a balloon. Anyway, it's little fun things.
Oh, I got you. So it could have like a check valve kind of maybe built into it or something.
Yes, it's a one-way valve. He has built in. Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Totally.
Very cool. Like, and I take pretty much all range of projects, including some medical. I don't help all the way through on medical products typically, but I could definitely help on the conceptual, get the, start with prototyping, engineering and some prototyping. But I think that what makes my job enjoyable day in, day out is that the range of ideas that we get to work with on, just a variety of different professionals, startups, established companies. It's just, that's what makes us fun. Everything from pet products to consumer goods to industrial and commercial products, machinery, medical stuff. I mean, so that's what makes it fun for me. I'm sure that, that it helps keep it more fun for you as well, right? I mean,
yeah, for sure. I mean, even though I've kind of call it given up, doing the drafting one-on-one with the inventor,
right.
Well, that's got its own joys. I mean, working hand in hand with someone where it means the world to them, right? And that's where our attorneys get their highs, I'm sure. I mean, nothing better than that. That's awesome. So that's why they stay with us. That's why our firm, attorneys, I get applications quite a bit, for attorneys that want to join us, and it's flattering. They want to be a part of what we're doing. But what I get my kicks out of the most these days is honest to goodness success stories.
Yeah.
Where our clients have actually started making money or had a major impact to their client base. We've got this major mover and shaker right now, Lubin, Lubn, Lubin box. He's got a smart lock box. It's not the sexiest thing, but they're doing a major VC round. They're going to be selling lock boxes to all these Airbnb, major VRBO chains where they can do remote lock boxes. Nice. You got a rental property in Tahiti or whatever, right? You can give specific access to whoever needs it without having to fly there or give anybody access to it.
Very cool.
Just cheering them on, and it's hard out there. And so connecting our inventors with professionals like you and Lime Design, that's what I spent the majority of my time on, is finding real, professionals that care and that can help our clients be successful, that have a real vested interest in seeing them through and helping them have the best chances of possible.
Yeah,
it's still risky, isn't it?
It is, and you still have to prepare for marketing. I mean, every product is basically you're creating a company, right? You're taking somebody's dream and figuring out how to monetize, how to help them monetize their dream, right? And it's unfortunately it can't always happen because you need to have, not everybody's prepared. Not everybody understands that bringing a product to life is actually starting a new business to some, right? Unless you've already have something in place, you're starting a new business and you're figuring out how to fund your product, how to market it, how to understand what your costs associated with developing an idea. And I think a lot of times people think too small. They're thinking about selling 1,000 pieces. They need to be thinking, how am I going to sell 10,000 or 20,000 or 100,000 pieces, so that you can really create that abundance that we're all looking for, right? And a lot of my clients are people that are just hardworking people that, like they just want to find another route. There's other ways to do this. You don't have to quote unquote slave for the man every day or whatever. You do that until you create your own opportunities, and then you can do what you want, right? So
yes, that's it.
that's part of my goal, to be able to help people. And in the spirit of helping people, what is your number one best advice for new inventors?
Okay, number one.
Actually, let's speak to your like ideal audience, let's say, right, which is someone who's a dentist, right, or a hygienist, somebody you had mentioned before earlier in the podcast. So
I would say, don't be afraid to call a patent attorney. Like, it's never too early, right? It's never going to be perfect. Have a discussion, a constant discussion. Find a good patent attorney. Doesn't have to be bold, but it's like, hey, we got this idea. We got this whole batch of ideas. Let me run them all by you. Let's talk about these, so that if it's eligible, so you can start to do some of the searching on your own if you want to save money. We'll coach you on how to do some of that initial searching, and then advise you on working with a business attorney, perhaps, to make sure your employment agreements are tight, so that you can trust your employees, maybe even contractors, with some of that trade secret R&D, and make that part of your company's DNA. That is how you're going to innovate and show up with a competitive advantage over any other dentistry. So I know there's a lot, but it's just, don't be afraid. It's to just start talking to a patent attorney. Don't be scared. I'm not going to intimidate you. We're not going to charge you a ton of money. Just trust us. Find one that you can trust, and begin to develop a relationship one, because that is how you're going to get moving forward.
Yeah, and that's creating trust. And I talked about this extensively with clients. They don't want to talk until they do an NDA and all this stuff, and that's very standard practice. We do this. The reality is that you're going to have to trust people along the way. I mean, anybody that you see the successful, the Elon Musk, the Jeff Bezos, whatever, and not just to cite them, but also other smaller entrepreneurs, they're not doing it by themselves. You have to do it with a team. I have to trust everybody on my team, right? You have to select the right people. And that's why I have this podcast, is to help people better understand and be able to kind of have a first introduction to the patent attorneys and my other preferred partners, so that you have a realistic. I mean, it's just you get to at least hear them out first before having that phone call. And I think it shares people's personality and their unique kind of view on bringing products to life, really, right? And their unique services, like yourself.
Totally.
Very cool. Awesome. So, all right. So the advice then is to not be afraid to reach out to a professional IP company to help you see what you can do with your idea.
Yeah, see what's possible. Don't be shy. Have fun with it. Know that as an attorney, they're obligated to keep everything you discuss confidential.
Yeah.
And it's, if you've got a practice, back to this dental example, you have a dental practice, or maybe it's a chiropractor, whatever it is, you've got multiple staffs. Leverage that. Doesn't have to be just you coming up with inventions. It's anyone that you employ that is innovative, and you can encourage innovation. That's what you can do, right? It doesn't have to be this closed, keep it all yourself kind of mentality that I know some of us can kind of fall into. If you own the company, if it's a practice, you have a team, like you said, pump them up, pump people, motivate them, incentivize them to come to you with their ideas. People are smart. I mean, all over the company.
So this kind of opens up a can of worms as well, because one could say, well, if it's my idea, why am I going to give it to the doctor? Let's say if it's the hygienist. Look, a lot of the best ideas come from people that are working day in, day out, and they're like, well, I wish there was a different tool that did this instead of that, or it was a different shape, or more easy to clean, or whatever, right? They come up with some innovation because some people are. I find that the people that are observant, they make for the best designers, honestly, the best inventors, because you're viewing something that's done at not the most efficient way, and you're like, wait, what if I do it like this? And then that could be the start of a new product right there, a new way of doing things, right? Anytime you're saving somebody time and money, right?
Yeah.
And allowing for a better, let's say, allowing for more health, just helping get people more healthy out there somehow, right?
Absolutely.
So what happens now? What happens now? You're the hygienist, and you have this awesome idea, right? Who does it belong to?
So if the dentist, the owner, let's just say, assuming it's the dentist, if they hired a business attorney and have their employment agreement set up correctly, they'll have, as part of the employment agreement, you agree to assign anything you invent while on the job to the company. Okay. That's boring and it's lame. Okay. But if that's true, okay, great. But the reality is, if you haven't had a conversation with your staff about, hey, if you come up with an invention, I'll share the royalty with you, or you're going to be cut in, or you're going to get a bonus. And if that conversation happens and it's real and you back it up, of course, now you're going to get people coming to you with these ideas. And so it's just a matter of the culture and the perspective.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it, man, and a great way to, encourage, innovation and creating abundance, really, right? Ultimately.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think you touched on something really cool too, is the actual, the most opportunities is going to come from unexpected places. That new hire or the intern who is asking the dumb questions. Well, why do you use that rubber dam before you begin that procedure? Couldn't you just do it first without inserting it? Right? Asking those stupid questions that actually might lead to innovation. And it's forgotten. And I think a lot of, let's call it out. Doctors have a big ego. And sometimes that gets in the way, and they just don't even hear what that new intern just said. Oh, they couldn't possibly understand. And so it is a true mindset shift. You've got to be open to being vulnerable as a leader, as an owner of a company, and anyway. So just not having all the answers, not being the inventor. And in my book, I'll plug my book if it's all right.
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So this is the Physician's Guide to. I've got a bunch of books. This is the Physician's Guide to Patents, and this talks about doctors. And the example I give in this book is a dental practice, bright and bold dental. It's a fictitious dental practice. Where I was going is the inventor is not Dr. Bright. It's the office manager. She comes up with the invention, and it's not related necessarily to dentistry. It's about parking. They have a major parking issue, and so she comes up with a software invention for queuing their customers coming in as they park. There's a very limited amount of parking spots, and it gets them involved and out, and basically processed in an efficient way, so that they can all park properly and not have to get towed or have issues there. It's a very kind of off the wall example, but it's applicable. So this book, it's actually. I'm getting another edition published, which will be a dental specific cover and forward. And right now I'm circulating this with a few dental professionals in my network and having them endorse it separately. So there'll be a second edition coming out.
Awesome, man. Well, if you could send me one of those, I'd love to raffle one off to everybody who's watching our video. Send us, leave a comment on if you're interested in getting this book and learning more. Actually, also, if you don't get it, we'll also give you a link on where you can get that book.
Yes.
But we will give away one of these books.
This is our regular book, right? So if you don't happen to be a dental professional, maybe you're just a regular inventor. This is the book I've had published since 2016. This is a second version that just published in 2021. So I give a free PDF copy of this away. For
Oh,
those that want to take action and do what I talked about earlier and not be scared, if you sign up for a free 20-minute screening session, we're going to give you a PDF copy of that. And I can send you a link to that.
yes, please do, and we'll add all that information into the video. And my goal is to help connect my clients to professionals like yourself that can take care of them with white glove service. And that's really what I look for from my partners, is somebody that will take as good care of the clients that I bring you as you send to me and whatnot. We can trust one another, that our focus is really delivering the top-notch services, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, we were just talking as a leadership team about what makes us different, how are we going to market, and we point number one is educational counsel is what we call it. So many of our inventors, because we serve first-time inventors, they don't know anything about patents, right? It's daunting, it's scary. How long is it? How expensive is it? What's involved? What are my choices? International, right? All these things, provisional, non-provisional. And so aside from writing the book, I've got YouTube videos, we have blog articles, and our attorneys educate and handhold because it requires that.
Yeah.
Calming them down, right? Because they're so engaged, everything's on the line, and it requires educational. So it's not just pay for your patent, get a patent. It's let me help you understand this as we go through it.
Got it, man. Well, thank you so much, JD. I think this has been a great conversation. Please send me those links so that I can put them together, and I will share that with you. And look forward to getting some responses and questions in the comments. If you guys have any questions for JD, you can put them in the comment below. And also, if you're interested in winning that book, I highly recommend it. And leave us a message as well on that, saying you're interested in getting in there for the raffle. And I look forward to bringing more amazing IP attorneys and other professionals such as JD. And I'm looking forward to really helping people get their ideas out there, guys. It's going to be a crazy year. Let's, might as well be working on the things that you want to work and pushing those things forward, especially if you have, already a full-time job and you have some time where you can actually, set a little bit of time, maybe, 5 to 10 hours a week, maybe, on pushing your idea forward. Just good to keep in mind. You know what I'm saying? You're going to need to have a little bit of time every week set aside for it. You don't have to do everything at once. JD and I are here to help you guys bring your ideas to life. So keep tuned for the next one. Check out all the links below, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.
Thank you, Rodrigo. Thanks, Lime Design.
Take care, guys.